So Bose just dropped the Quiet Comfort Ultra Gen 2s. And there was a lot of hype around these headphones, just like the XM6, for example, when those came out. And now it's my turn to go ahead and discuss with you guys whether or not the hype is actually real with these Bose headphones. And spoiler alert, it kind of is. So, with that said, welcome, guys. I'm Andy. This is the Spacey Tropics Review channel where I try to review just a little bit of everything. I got the QC Ultra Gen 2s finally, and I'm ready to give you guys my review on them. So, I think first and foremost, there's something I'd like to address when it comes to headphones of this caliber, and that is the price. I think as of recent, manufacturers have been getting a little bit outrageous with their prices, especially Bose, for example. So, as far as an example that I'd like to use to prove to you guys that the prices are just outrageous and they should be a little bit lower, recently Amazon had their second Prime Day thingamajig or whatever it is, October 7th and October 8th. They had some huge deals. And in the midst of those deals, you could get a Bose Quiet Comfort headphone for $199. Now, you tell me, for a headphone that came out and debuted at $359 as a starting price for the Quiet Comfort headphones, how is Bose still making a profit if it's $199? Right? If it can be sold for $199, then main asking price should be $250, not $360. That's insane. Kind of the same concept when I was thinking about these headphones. They cost $450 plus tax. And somewhere here, I'm going to go ahead and list out all of the prices, the starting prices of Bose headphones from the QC25 onward. And you're going to see that there's constantly a $50 increase every time Bose decides that, or well, any company for that matter, decides that, well, they want to cheat the consumer out of some more money. Honestly, $450 for these things is insane. Now, if you said $380 without me batting an eyelash, I would have said, okay, that is a fair price. But not $450. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the design and comfort of these headphones, and also talk a little bit about the case. So, even though with a weight increase of roughly 8 grams or so, bringing us up to 262 grams of, well, weight, these headphones still feel great. They still feel awesome. They still feel lightweight. Bose did an excellent job with the weight distribution when it comes to these headphones, even though they're slightly heavier. And that is thanks to the use of premium materials. I can't say the same for the rival manufacturer that used all plastic. Bose really did try here, and I'm very appreciative of it, honestly. When we're talking about the case, it is a true compact case, and when comparing it to something like the Bose Quiet Comfort headphone case, at least as far as thickness, these things are almost identical. Albeit it's a little bit slightly smaller in terms of height. However, thanks to the nice foldability of the Ultra Gen 2s, they actually do fit in the Quiet Comfort headphone case, which is something pretty cool to know. In my honest opinion, at least, it's pretty cool to know. So, kudos to Bose on that. Something else that Bose gave you is the option to go ahead and replace the ear pads. Yes, that's right, folks. The dimensions of the Ultra Gen 2s are exactly the same dimensions as the Ultra Gen 1s. So if you so choose to feel that you want to pop these off and go ahead and do what I did and buy gel cooling ear pads for your Bose product, you're more than welcome to do so. Bose allows you to do that, albeit don't get the ones I got here, because while they do fit, they actually are very wide when you put them on your ear. So something to note, just pay attention to when you're buying your ear pads, that they actually fit well on the headphone and actually fit in the case. So, like I said, these headphones do use some very nice premium materials. As you can see, at least on the top of my head, it's nice, it's soft versus the nice little hard plastic on the top. All the way coming down here, and then, do you hear that? Do you hear that? That is metal. Thank you, Bose, for using aluminum on the headbands all the way down to the actual ear cup. I think that is a huge, major win and helps preserve the longevity of these headphones when it comes to longer term use. Very appreciative of it. Over here on some of the leather portions, well, maybe not this, but at least the leather portion here for the ear pad, they use some type of protein leather for it. It's not real leather, but it is nice and soft and plush and comes right back. And you know what? Again, Bose did a great job when it comes to the comfort, hence quiet comfort. It's in the name. Honestly, my overall take on the design and just overall comfortability, if that's a word, for these headphones, it is on top. It is one of the better headphones to get that just feels comfortable long term to use compared to, again, something like the Sony's. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the feature set of the Quiet Comfort Ultra Gen 2s. So let's talk about battery life first. Battery life on a full charge gets you 30 hours of active noise cancellation on. Turn immersion audio on, so that's their version of like Apple's spatial audio, for example. Turn immersion audio on, and that actually dips the battery life all the way down to 23 hours instead, so you lose 7 hours of that full charge, which sucks if you want to use immersion audio, but we'll talk about that in a minute. 15 minutes of charge gets you maybe an additional 2 to 3 hours of playback. However, the nice thing is that Bose included USB-C audio pass-through, and anybody knows that audio pass-through, that means the headphones also charge at the same time. So it's kind of an infinite loop to keep your headphones steady and going from any type of USB-C device you have, like let's say for an iPhone, for example. You can charge these headphones off the iPhone and listen wired, because obviously everybody knows wired listening is king. You have that option, and I think that is awesome. Great job, Bose. I am a huge fan of USB-C audio pass-through. Next up is something that may get controversial, but the active noise cancellation on these headphones. Are they better than the XM6? I have a detailed comparison video that I'm in the works on right now. What I can say is no. They're not as strong as the active noise cancellation on the XM6. Like I said in that review for the XM6, they have the strongest active noise cancellation, not the best. And Bose, in my opinion, has the best, or at least the better, active noise cancellation system on board, because they give you a level of customization. You can customize how much ANC you want in one of the little modes that they give you through the app, and I think that's awesome. If I want to keep my noise cancellation at a 4 out of 10, I can happily do so. And I love doing so because it gives me a chance to hear my team when I'm at work. And more importantly, it still blocks out enough noise that, well, you're not hearing too much and you can actually get some things done. So great job for Bose for not trying to outplay Sony, but instead actually just try to refine something that they already had that was a good product. They did great. Kudos. Another thing to go ahead and note is the transparency mode. It works pretty decently well, albeit it's not as strong as Apple. However, it does allow you to hear yourself pretty decently well, and that's a big concept for me. You can have transparency mode and hear the world, but if I can't hear myself properly and it's muffled, then you lost me. Speaking of mics and speaking of picking up voices and stuff like that, I'm going to go ahead and do a mic test right now so you can go ahead and listen to what the QC Ultra Gen 2s sound like when it comes to their microphones on board. So just for reference, this is what the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra Gen 2s sound like with their microphones. It's not bad. It's not great. It just works. And over phone calls, people say that they can hear me pretty decently well, albeit, the majority of the time that I'm answering phone calls, I'm in a office setting with these headphones. So it's not super duper loud, but it works. It works decently well. I mean, at least as far as my office is concerned, I work near the airport here down in Florida, in Orlando. And, well, obviously planes take off all day, but people are able to make out what I'm saying over the airplanes taking off or landing or so on and so forth, albeit, yes, there are 1 or 2 times where, it's obviously just too hard to hear me. But once the plane passes, the headphones pick up my voice pretty well, and the call resumes. Another feature to go ahead and note is that these headphones have some form of AI in it. So that AI helps to tweak the active noise cancellation, to get that adaptive noise cancellation, and it helps to tweak the sound a little bit when it's in immersion audio to just give you that little bit more oomph that it possibly can. That's one thing that I think that's working in the background very well for these headphones, and can't wait to listen to more music with it, trying to figure out what's best. So another important feature that I think is on these headphones is a standby feature, and it is a pretty decent standby feature. So go ahead, take the headphones off of your head, lay them flat on a table or lay them flat in the case, and well, after 3 seconds of no audio playback or no interaction, these headphones go into a deep sleep, so to speak. And when you pick them back up and you're ready to put them back on, the connection is almost instant. And it must be because of that Bluetooth 5.4 on board. But like I said, connection instant. Last but not least, I want to go ahead and just briefly touch on the app because there's not much to say other than it is a very nice user-friendly app. Everything is one touch away, like the EQ or trying to figure out some tips and tricks, trying to figure out where the shortcuts are or where your modes are for sound modes. Everything is really easy, really nice to navigate through that app. You can find everything. I found where to update the headphones if I need to update the headphones. So yeah, the app was very well thought out, very well built. Nice job. Now, the biggest elephant in the room, the sound quality. So as far as sound quality with the immersion audio on, again, immersion audio, think spatial audio from Apple. With the immersion audio on, the music sounds pretty decently good. If you want to go ahead and EQ the tracks with immersion audio on, I would personally say if you're going to do anything with that, leave the mids anywhere from 0 to -2 on that EQ scale and let the immersion audio go ahead and take care of the rest when it comes to the sound. It does a pretty good job that way in my opinion. And well, you're free to fluctuate the bass and the treble however you want it in whatever direction. I'm going to pop up somewhere where my particular settings are when it comes to immersion audio on and immersion audio off. When it comes to the immersion audio being off and it's technically just you and the music from the headphone with noise cancellation on, it's nice. It's good. It's a typical BOSE sound signature with warm bass, decent mids, and really nice strong highs that, as compared to other BOSE products, these are top notch. Personally, for me, at least my unit, I felt like it needed some form of a break-in period because of the 35mm drivers that it has on board. And yes, if you don't know, these things have a 35mm driver as compared to some of the other manufacturers that are going smaller with 30mm drivers. I think that extra 5mm, no matter how small it is the thing that actually helps the immersion audio sound and work pretty decently well. Now, as far as the actual sound on immersion audio, I didn't think I got a chance to mention this, but the sound on immersion audio is actually pretty good. I don't recommend keeping it on the still function. I think the still function doesn't really work well. It's best to keep it on motion. When it comes to the still function, if you're listening to music this way and you happen to turn your head this way, the music is still this way until the headphones realize that your head is this way and stabilized, and then it swaps the music over. Just keep it in motion for the immersion audio and it should work pretty good. But with it off, we can, like I said, get that basic nice BOSE sound signature, nice smooth bass, anywhere from 50 all the way up to 50 to 60%. After that, the headphones try to prioritize sound quality over giving you increased bass, so it's going to try to make that sound as balanced as it possibly can in the higher volume spectrum, even if it means reducing the bass a little bit. As far as the mids are concerned, without immersion audio, you're more than welcome to go ahead and keep it 1 or 2 notches above 0. I wouldn't go anywhere past that because if I'm being honest with you, it gets somewhat sharp at the top for the mids, and I don't like that. At least to my ears, that's sonically not what I like to listen to. So for me, I keep it at least 1, maybe 2 stops maximum above 0 if I really want any form of mids when it comes to listening to these headphones via the just plain old standard listening mode, no immersion audio in sight. As far as the highs are concerned, compared to other BOSE products or other BOSE headphones, these are some of the better highs that I've heard. They're nice and strong, they're crisp, they're clean, and they actually get to the point. So Great job, Bose, on the sound signature of these things, both on immersion audio and off of immersion audio. Very, very proud to call these headphones a very complete package when it comes to not just the sound, but the overall design and the case and the comfort and so on and so forth. Now, before I get into my conclusions, I just want to go ahead and speed run through some of the dislikes that I have for these headphones. First up, the 2.5 to 3.5 mil auxiliary cable. Please, Bose, it is 2025 going on in 2026. We do not, and should not have any resemblance of a 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter auxiliary cable in your headphones. Next up, instead of a volume slider, I really wish there were volume buttons. You already went all the way to give me a multifunction button. It probably shouldn't have been that much to give me volume buttons as well. I think the slider is very gimmicky. It's the most gimmicky thing on this headphone. Any slight touch and it's either going to raise or lower the volume, especially if you go like this. It can actually register a touch that way, and that sucks. Other than that, you heard my qualms about the price. That's another dislike for me. And then last but not least, I don't know if I'm late to the game or whatever the case may be, but it seems to me that there's only one wear sensor in these ear cups. I usually thought that wear sensors come in both ear cups, but no. For this, just on this side. So if you put it on and you put the headphone like this and this and this and whatever, the music is still going to play. But the moment you even touch this and move it in the wrong direction, well, guess what? It's going to stop playing everything. And it sucks. It's quirky. I don't like it. But it's not much of a choice that we have because the wear sensors are built in. So, final overall thoughts on the QC Ultra Gen 2s. They are a very, very well put together headphone. Use of decently premium materials on them, all the way down to the aluminum on the headbands. The case, awesome as well. Sound quality, very good for a Bose product. Feature-wise, does have a complete set of features, including one of my favorites, which is that USB-C audio pass-through. And more importantly, like I said before, it is a complete package. Something that I can't so vividly say about the XM6s. And if you're curious, yes, I am going to go ahead, like I said before, and create an XM6 versus Bose QC Ultra Gen 2 comparison video, so stay tuned for that video. Other than that, I want to go ahead and thank you guys for making it to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. You never know when somebody may need a little bit of a different perspective on the Ultra Gen 2s. With that said, I'll go ahead and catch y'all in the next one.